Hey everybody, this is Rustyn with Metalholic Magazine, The Examiner, and of course Mojo Radio, where Shinedown is our Mojo Radio Artist of the Month for April. And on the phone with us, Barry Kerch of Shinedown. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I am doing really good. You just rolled through my neck of the woods last week here in Boise, but you guys are currently out on the Avalanche tour, tearing it up. I think New Medicine's still with you on this point of the tour until Art of Dying kicks in, and you've got Adelita's Way. How's the tour going so far?
It's going great. It's fun to be back touring after taking such a long hiatus between records. It's nice to be back in kind of small venues, almost like the ones we did on the, in fact, some of them are the ones that we did on the acoustic run towards the end of Sound of Madness. So it's kind of a fun kickoff in smaller places before the summer big festivals and all that type of stuff hits. We're having a great time. We're in Providence, Rhode Island today at a place called Lupo's, which we hadn't played in probably 6-7 years, so it's really been a lot of fun getting the feet wet and seeing the fans again who haven't seen us in a couple of years.
Right, and it was a wonderful, wonderful show. And the Avalanche tour is weird because this is the second year, I believe, and last year it was like 6 bands. This year they really pared it back. They cut it in half with just the 3 bands. Do you like that better, that it's less of a festival thing and more of an intimate environment?
I think both can be fun because when you have 6 bands, you have more musicians out there to talk to and hang out with, because it becomes a kind of that environment behind the scenes. But I think logistically, it's a lot easier for the crews to be able to work when there's less stuff everywhere, especially in these smaller venues. Trying to pack 6 bands in here would be very difficult. So it's nice to have 3. Logistically, it works well, but the more the merrier. The more musicians you have to hang out with, the lot more fun it can be, but also a lot more taxing it can be. So it's a double-edged sword for sure.
Now, Brent and Zach are usually the ones always doing the interviews, the face of the band, if you will, but you've been there from the start, so you've got sort of a unique perspective as well from behind the kit. I'd love to go back and find out a little bit more about you. If you can, talk about how you came into music. Was there a moment, a song or something that sort of triggered your desire to make music?
Not really. I was more of kind of the natural kid progression of I loved to beat on the pots and pans and just listen to whatever music was there. In my household growing up, there was music, but it wasn't played out loud. My mother had some hearing damage as a child, so loud noises really bothered her. So then, music wasn't blared in my house or things like that. Go figure now, her son's a drummer. But my father always listened to records on headphones, so I would try to sneak in and listen to his records and stuff like that. And my grandmother was the one that initially got me started in drums, because she'd see me beat around the pots and pans and really enjoying it, or taking my Christmas boxes and turning it into a drum set instead of playing with the toys that they came in, the boxes. So she said, "You're going to be a drummer just like your uncle." And I didn't know him. It was her brother, but he was a jazz player from Chicago. Nobody famous, just a local player. And soon after that, I got my first snare drum, and it's been a love affair ever since. I was 7 years old. I've been playing and playing in the school system. It's paid my way into college by playing. It's been something I've done for 27, 28 years now.
Right, if I remember correctly, it was you got your drum kit at 7 or something like that, and you just beat the crap out of it playing along to Iron Maiden?
Yeah, I got my first drum kit at 11. I got my first snare drum at 7.
Oh, gotcha.
They went to the study route. They said, "Hey, you're going to get a snare drum to start with, and if you show interest and learn your rudiments, which are basically like your scales and drumming, if you learn the rudiments on this, and you go to your lessons, then eventually we'll work on getting a drum set." And then my 11th birthday, I got my first kit and been slamming ever since. And definitely Iron Maiden, they were a huge influence on me, but I listened to all sorts of music all through the years. So,
well, that begs the question then, as a drummer, Clive Burr or Nico McBrain?
Man, that's just cruel. I think Clive Burr, they both have something unique about themselves. They're both great drummers. I'm a Nico fan. I like his technique on the kick drum and the hi-hats, but both wonderful drummers. I think Number the Beats is one of my favorite records, and that was Clive. So it's really a tough decision, but I'd have to go with Nico just over the years because his technique.
Gotcha. So take us, if you will, from your perspective, through the evolution of Shinedown from the beginning to where we are now with Amaryllis.
It's been a long road, long, hard road. We're not one of those bands that had overnight success, even though people sometimes think we have. We've been busting it for 10, 11 years now. And it started slow, and there was people that said we weren't going to make it. I remember people, when the Whisper came out, said, you'll be lucky to sell 10,000 records on this one. And luckily we did sell a lot more than that on that record, and we've continued continued to grow, and we've had, it's been the VH1 behind-the-scenes music story. We've had lineup changes, and dinner rivals, and all those things. But through all that, Brett and I have always stuck together. We're family. We're practically married. I see him more than I see my wife anyway. So there's an absolute love for each other in this band, and also with Zach and Eric, who are relatively new members, but not really anymore. They've been with us, Eric's the lead, and he's been with us for 4 years now. It's a love affair, and what's cool about this band, and I think why we stay relevant and why we're able to be here now and on our fourth record, is that we write honest songs from the heart. We're honest with each other, and we actually truly enjoy getting on stage and playing, and we enjoy being around each other. Days off, we go and eat dinner together. With our crews, too, we actually hang out together, and a lot of bands don't do that. They get sick of each other, or they don't really get along, or there's two guys that get along, the other two guys don't get along. We're lucky that it's not that way, and I think that's what's kept this band around for so long. And then we've also grown as players and songwriters. We Whisper was a great record, but it's not Amaryllis. And we've never written the same record. We do Leave a Whisper Part 2 or Sound of Madness Part 2. We describe what's happening at the time, and I think you can see a constant level of maturity between the records, because we've grown as musicians. I'm a much different player and songwriter and musician than I was 10 years ago. And you hope you grow. You should grow as a musician. You should always try to learn something new and be a better player and explore different areas. And I think we've done that. And within that, still kept true to ourselves. And it still sounds like Shinedown. We look at bands like Aerosmith and U2 and go, we want to be one of those guys. I mean, not to compare ourselves to them, but to say we want a career like that, where they can constantly reinvent themselves and still stay relevant and still have a great time doing what they do. Right.
And the new album is fantastic, and it is another sonic step from what you did with The Sound of Madness, and I think it's going to take you guys again to yet another level. And I want to say thank you, because I've been listening to the album a lot lately, and this week, tragically enough, my brother-in-law passed away Saturday. My best friend of 35 years passed away on Monday, and the lyrics to Amaryllis, even though they don't directly relate to that, has really been something that's helped me grieve, if you will. So
sure, I'm sorry to hear that. For one, that's horrible. It's good, and that's the cool thing about music. No matter who you listen to, what you listen to, if you're able to relate to something, that's what makes it special, and that's why we love music. That's why you do what you do and write about music. That's why I play music. It can be a departure and an escape, and sometimes a healing process by having it. It's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. Now, you guys went back again to record this one with Rob Cavallo. What is it about that relationship that works so well for you guys?
I don't know, but it works. It's crazy. Well, Rob's a genius. He really is, and he just has a great ear, and it's good to have an outside perspective. And he did so well, and his whole team, himself and Doug McKean, which is his engineer, who's a madman behind the computer and getting sounds and stuff like that. He just really knows how to get the best out of a performance. Between those two, it works so well on Sound of Madness. We said, let's give it another shot. Do you have the time? And he's now the head of Warner, so his time is much more limited than it used to be. We said, yeah, let's do this. And we got in there, and these songs just came to life. A lot of it has to do with Doug. A lot of it has to do with the time we spend on it. A lot of it has to do with Brent, my son-mate. He's completely and totally obsessive, compulsive, and retentive when it comes to making records or pretty much anything in his life. But we wouldn't put anything out there unless it was right and done perfectly. I don't know how many times we've mixed and remixed these songs in this album to make sure it's perfect. So we gave the fans a full album. We don't write just songs and then a bunch of fluff around. We want to write an album that you can listen to from front to back. I think we accomplished that. I hope we accomplished that. But Rob's input definitely helps with that. It's not that he changes everything. If the song's good and it's the way it is, he can leave alone. But at the same time, he can find better guitar tones, and he can help find maybe a different arrangement. And then he goes, hey, let's put strings on this song, and this song needs horns, or maybe we need this synth part here. He kind of puts all those little extra pieces into the puzzle to make the songs even better than what they were to begin with in a demo form. And it's that whole system that created these two great records, and definitely this record, which I think is our best today.
And then obviously you recorded some extra songs, because I believe you've got one, I'm Alive, that's going on the Avengers soundtrack?
Yeah, we recorded that after. That was actually done in Eric's, our bass player's studio.
Oh, wow.
Charleston. I did that. We had the break after Europe. I flew up there for a day and did the drums, and we finished it up. And I think the lyrics had been done earlier on the song. It was an idea, and it was demoed out for the record, but then it wasn't the song that fit on the record, and kind of put it off to the side. And then Disney came to us and said, "Hey, we want a song for this record." We thought this would be perfect for it. So it was kind of it happened after. I couldn't believe we were already back in the studio after seeing this record, but the song turned out great. We're really happy with it.
Now, I understand also you have a love of cooking.
I do. I love to cook. It's a passion for me when I get home. It's departure. I love playing drums, but drums is now a job for me.
Right.
So when I get home, sometimes I don't want to look at a drum kit, and I love to get in the kitchen. It's very cathartic and almost meditative for me to just be in the kitchen and make a nice meal for my family. It's one of my favorite things. I just love good food.
Awesome.
I'm not shy around food. I love good food.
So what's your best dish?
Oh, that's tough. I would say probably Creole or Cajun food would be my best dish. But I've really been experimenting a lot lately with Thai food. I'm getting pretty good at it, but definitely Creole, Southern Cajun food is my specialty. I am from Florida, and I got family in the Louisiana area, and that's just a passion of mine is Creole food.
Right. So might we actually see a cookbook out of you at some point?
Maybe. I think I'm going to definitely put some more recipes on our website. I had done that in the past. I look to doing that here in the future, but there's so many great chefs out there, and there's so much knowledge out there now. I feel kind of like an idiot because I'm not a trained chef. I just have a passion for it. To put something out there might be blasphemous in the world of cooking with so many great people out there now. It's a pretty saturated market, but you never know. I might do it. We'll see what the fans want.
Absolutely. So a couple more questions then before we jump out of here. We're getting ready at Metalholic to do an article on the best drummers of the last 30 years or so. Who do you believe definitely goes on that list? Is there anybody in particular you feel gets overlooked?
Wow. There's a lot of great drummers out there. That's tough. I would say probably John Fred Young from Blackstone Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon Larkin from Godsmack, Amen, Ugly Kid Joe. He's a wonderful showman and a hell of a player. I think there's so many great drummers out there. Daniel Adair from Nickelback. He's a wonderful player, very talented player. Who else? Maybe I'll go with those three. The list could go on and on.
Absolutely.
Thomas Pridgeon, he's another one out there. Thomas Pridgeon's amazing, but he's getting plenty of attention right now, so I don't need to get too many more.
You guys have made it to that next level. Is there a band out there that impresses you that you think will be the next one that hits that next level, be the next headliner that really is creating great stuff?
Oh, wow. I haven't seen anything in a while. There's some really good bands out there, but there hasn't been a band that blew my head off. And half the time when I pick a band, they don't do as well as I would hope they would have. I guess I hear something different. I would not be a good artist for us for a label. You know what I saw recently that took my head off and I absolutely loved, and I don't know if it will go further because I know it's kind of a weird side project thing, but AWOL Nation was a wonderful show that I saw recently that mixed all the fun stuff from rock and roll and pop into one thing. It was really a great show. So that's my choice right now.
Nice. And since you're not the one that writes all the songs on the album, I can ask you this question without getting I love them all. What is your personal favorite track? What's your personal favorite track on Amaryllis?
It's a tie between Amaryllis and I'll Follow You.
Nice. Barry Kerch of Shinedown, I appreciate so much you're taking the time.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Bye.
Take care.